morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Grumman Pilot's YouTube channel. And today this is video from Ken Blackman helping Dan sell his Tiger. But pay attention and see what Ken thinks is important as he goes through this airplane. And I'll see you on the other side. So we would like to ask you please subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the notify to stay current with our content.
Okay, March 30th, 2014. Got a 79 Tiger, 28268 that is available for sale. The owner had a medical challenge and has held off selling for a long time, and the airplane's been kept active by me personally. And he finally decided he's just going to go ahead and give it up and find it a new home. This aircraft I've known since birth. It was one of the first 79 model airplanes that we took as a dealer, and I kept this one for my demonstrator because it was the best performing one that we'd gotten a hold of. It's an early 79 serial number. It was actually manufactured, I think, in late 78. And the aircraft has been maintained solely by me and mechanics that worked for me since new in the end of 78. And I sold it to Dan McCarty in, I think it was 1982, and took a two-place in-on trade. We taught Dan to flight school, and we, kept this airplane in our fleet. It was my demonstrator, and had some rental use, charter use. I used to fly it. It was my favorite airplane to fly on charters. And because it's just a little faster than most of them, and just flew a little sweeter. Anyway, it's got, I think, right at 1,600 hours total time since new on it. Until until year before last, it had really never had a wrench on the engine, and we ended up finding a cracked cylinder, pulling it off to repair an exhaust port. And, well, if it was cracked, we ought to look at the others. So we pulled the other three cylinders, and two of them were cracked. So they got replaced, and one was overhauled again. We had them done by Lycon, as I say, in California, and put them back together. And they gave us an opportunity, by the way, to get a real good look inside at everything. Cam, followers, everything, no rust, no pitting, just in fine shape. So we we're back together, and I flew it, I don't know how many hours, but I had a kind of a pesky problem with mag drops. It acted like a dirty plug, but it wouldn't burn off. So the mags were getting long in the tooth, so age-wise, so we wound up replacing both mags at the last annual, which was in late October. I think it was signed off in November, if I remember right. And that took care of the problem. So anyway, I'm going to walk around and take a look at some of the things of it. The main wheel fairings were replaced several years ago with fiberglass, all bodywork smooth with flush rivets and everything on the side. And tires are near new, abrasion boots, original paint, original glass, original interior, and the paint's really the only detractor from the aircraft. The interior is good, but a little bit faded. Dan bought one of the complete interior kits from Wag Aero and has it still in boxes. So it's got a brand new original interior, same color as these, the orange velour. And so anyway, that goes with it. The windshield is optically, it's good. It's got a little bit of crazing around the base of the windshield. You can't really see it from up here, but you get inside, you can see right around the base of it. And it wouldn't hurt to replace it. It's not mandatory, but it's one of the things we were considering doing. It's got the split nose cowl, the good way. Cinch-inch propeller, 63 pitch. This, incidentally, was the aircraft that was first flown with the cinch-inch prop for the STC back in 1980. And so it was the first cinch-inch prop airplane. And so we will put the camera down and pop the lid. Okay, Cowling open, and first thing somebody that knows Grummans will recognize it's a little bit different is this oil cooler, and this is a modification done back in the early 80s. There was a one-time approval on it, and it's a 7-vein Harrison oil cooler on there, Niagara Development oil cooler, and modified baffling, and it rocks the thing up so that it doesn't get locked half off behind the cylinder there, time number 4. And anyway, the baffle seals were put on it quite some time back. This is the stuff that we still use, and this is held up just beautifully. It seals perfectly well, and the little bit thicker piece across here than the rest of it, but that was a little experimentation with some stuff there, and found out it wasn't necessary to use that thickest stuff, but it works great. It also has an air oil separator, one of the original Walkers. Now Airwolf has and markets this system, and it's driven, you got the crankcase breather comes in here, you've got a line coming from the back side of the vacuum pump blowing in here, gets it swirling, and it separates oil from air. Air goes out the bottom through this duct that's attached down to the lower cowling down there with a hose clamp, and it's got a drain line comes out the bottom here that goes over and goes into a T on the other side, and you've got pressure again tapped off of the backside of the vacuum pump, promoting the draw of air down through there, so it circulates, and it puts the oil right back in the engine, and works very, very, very well. It's one of those things, there's nothing to do to service it, you just leave it alone, and goes on from there. Okay, like I said, the engine had a complete top, and nitrided cylinders still, and we cleaned up, painted the case while it was apart, made it look a little bit better. On the side of the engine over here. Here's that Y off the pressure side of the vacuum pump. Comes down here, it taps back in down here to number 4, or number 3 cylinder into the return line. And this has been on here for several years. This is a considerable improvement over the old automotive type crush tube that was in there. That holds up real well. It's got a Zeftronics regulator on it that was put on here not too awful, well, a couple, 3 or 4 years ago. Little modification here, we call these cowl bumpers. They keep the cowl from flexing in when you push the latches, and keeps them from breaking and cracking down through here. It's got chafing tape around through the, the cowling lip and everything, and cowls in very good condition as Tiger cowls go, and they're famous for cracking, and this one doesn't have any cracks in it anywhere. Yeah, moving on around, like I said, the paint job needs attention. It's original, especially the wings. Fuselage is not bad. Cowling needs a little touch up. That orange paint, by the way, matches real good. That's actually a late 70s Volkswagen color. And let's see, I think Chrysler used it also. It's called Big Bad Orange, at least by, I think, Chrysler. But anyway, could get by with, doing, painting the wings probably, and repainting the cowl and the nose strap, a few things there. Like I said, windshield is got a little bit of hazing to it, all the glass does, but considering it's as old as it is, why, that's not bad. The airplane's been hangared continuously since, I'm going to say 83 or 84, and it's been strictly private use since then. Dan had some friends that flew it. I flew it quite a bit. I've flown this airplane to about 8 or 10 AYA conventions across the country and back. Bev Hansen, who was one of our team members, former AYA president, the flight team, we sold his Yankee due to losing his medical, and he managed to get it back. Was afraid to, he really didn't want to buy another airplane because he was afraid he was going to, didn't know how long he'd be able to keep his medical, so I worked out an arrangement for him to fly this one. So he flew it quite a lot for a few years, and the owner really flown it less than anybody else, I think. And for the last, at least the last 10 years, I've been the only one to fly it. Let me over here and turn some lights on. And incidentally, when I'm doing this, this hangar is a condo hangar. Dan owns it, and it is going to be for sale also. So if someone locally in the area were to purchase the aircraft, they could buy the hangar with it or work out some type of a sublease with him. And I'm sure that would be a easy thing to do. And now I'm going to get up here and we'll take a look inside it. Got my Grumman handheld GPS, or portable GPS mounted on there. Trying to keep it in there. And like I say, except for fading and Little engine is back in there. The interior is just perfect on this thing. And someone could, that interior kit that he's got are new complete side panels ready to put in, all of them. And the seats, it's covers to slide over them. So, plus then he's got a extra roll of this orange Naugahyde. If somebody wanted to recover stuff with that. Carpets are not included in the kit. Actually, they're in pretty good shape. Get stuff up out of the way so I can get in it here. And we'll get in. Oh, by the way, it's 4-place intercom. And your jacks for the back seat are mounted right there in the tunnel. Okay. Back here, see if I can zoom in on the panel. I've got, looks like quite a bit of interference from the way the light is here. I may have to close those hangar doors to get much better of this. But anyway, starting from the left over here, got the clock, and we put the vacuum gauge down there, and it's got Century 1 autopilot, airspeed indicator with the true airspeed function. Up above there we have the selector switch for the Electronics International EGT CHT, which is mounted over there where the vacuum gauge used to be. And the reason we mounted it there was because it interferes size-wise with the turn coordinator down there, which is the head for the Century 1 autopilot. The Hobbs meter there, and we have a Sigtronics, the 4-place intercom system there, Narco audio switching panel with markers, and we've got a King KX170B with a King KI 209, I think that is that, so it's either 209 or 205. And the Narco Nav 121 below it is a standalone unit. And then you have the Michael's MX-11A radio there, replacing the original Narco COM 120 that was in there. Or I think it was a COM 11A that was actually put into this airplane, came out of the factory with the King in it. Up there's an old Loran that needs to go away. It's one of the ones that you can drop in one particular GPS unit and just change the antenna and go for it, so I haven't taken it out because of that. I should just take the thing out to save the weight and blank over the hole for now. That thing weighs, I think, about 3 pounds. And then you got a King KT 76A transponder down there. It's a Narco ELT 10. There's the remote switch for turning it on. Avionics Masters below that. It's got the McFarlane throttle. Other than that, the panel's pretty original. You got your autopilot switches up there and your alternator warning light. And everything, obviously, except the boat anchor there works fine. And we'll land. And down here, you got the fuel switches, or fuel selectors, and console, and push these forward a bit. I'll get a view of the interior here. Rear seat vents. And it's got the map light over there. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and crawl out of here now and go shut those hangar doors and see if I can get a better picture in here. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit better here now. There's the engine from this view. And those fresh mags back there on them. It's due for an oil change right now. Planning to get it in this week and do that. It's not got all that many hours on it since the oil change, but time-wise, it's due. Anyway, oh yeah, this is much better. We can get a better look at things here. Let's see if I can turn the master on, get the instrument lights on. Panel's in excellent condition, and original glove box working fine. Hodge meter showing 1,095 hours. That was I put in somewhat after it was changed sometime, I'm not sure. Takt time is, I don't want to focus. It's 1596.91, so just almost 1,600 hours. Got the quartz clock in it, electric, alternate static source, and the map light, which comes out and you can shine at different instruments and stuff, or over on your map. What else? Push to talks in both yokes. Yokes have been reconditioned, powder coated, and other than the phony placards that they put on them at the factory are a little bit wobbly. I ought to come up with one there. I think I've got a metal one I could replace that with. Unfortunately, you got to pull all the switches out and change those. You have to take everything here completely out to be able to do it. So, and down here you'd have to take all the engine controls out. So it's just one of those things that, why? Anyway, but cosmetically it could be done. And mechanically, this airplane is as perfect, I think, as any airplane you will find on the market. Like I say, we have spared nothing with this airplane. We've given it every little detail it needed. I'm the one flying it most of the time, so I wanted it right. Headset back up there. Switch seats here. This is something that you don't see every day. Book that's got a record of every flight and who flew it and pretty much where it went. Starting in May of 1984. And okay, On June 8th, Dave Wheeler flew it to Oak Harbor, and 623, Dan filled it. Okay, it was mainly just thing. Okay, down here, Wheeler flew it to SeaTac. Dave was my chief pilot when I was at flight school. Anyway, we go on over here to it, to the current date, and these are all my flights here, and we're going to complete that last entry. That was last weekend, and I flew it for 1.3 hours. Went down and looked at an airplane at near the airport, and then flew up and looked over the landslide disaster. And we'll go on back, and that's all Ken. Back there, this was in the 90s when Bev Hansen was flying it. And I flew it to AIA 99. And which was in don't remember where 99 was. Okay, that must have been down south somewhere, because it looks like I landed and fueled in Klamath Falls. Anyway, okay, Dan flew at 12/3 of 2000. Again in May of 2002. And, okay, May 12th of 2002 looks to be, I think that's right, that's the last time one of those aircraft flew it. And since then, it's been me flying, except for Flight Instructor Dave Wheeler. He did a checkout with a guy in it. And the rest of it is all Ken over to here. So anyway, the aircraft has not had tremendous amount of use, but it's been steady use. And obviously it's been hangared all this time, and there's no deterioration to the cam. We found that out for sure, and we were through it. So I think part of that is the fact that when this airplane was almost new, Microlon had just come out, and we did a Microlon treatment on it when the aircraft had, I think, probably a little over 100 hours on it. And then we did another Microlon treatment, I think 300 or 400 hours later. And then we got to messing with a product called Matrix, which was another Teflon treatment. And we did a Matrix treatment on it, if I remember right, somewhere around 700-800 hours. And then another one at around 1,200 hours, if I recall. I have to look back at the logs. And then I've used AdBlend in it, since back in the, I think, I think I started using AvBlend in it in about sometime in the mid-90s. And put it in with every oil change, and that's, the airplane uses virtually no oil. Before we topped it, it was not using oil at all. Compressions were all excellent. The only reason we got into it was because we finally had a blown exhaust gasket and a little erosion that we wanted to get machined off rather than trying to fix it in the airplane, and that's when we discovered the cracked jug. So I've used AvBlend since then. Of course, the break-in period on the overhaul or the top end, I didn't use it, and after that was broken in, the last annual we put the AvBlend in. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so it's held up real well, and I'm thinking about changing over to CamGuard and probably put that in with the oil change I'm getting ready to do on it. So anyway, that's pretty much it for 28268, and I'll get back out and see if I missed anything on the outside. Button back up, and I just went through, caught my book up there and checked. It's actually got 12 and a half hours since the top overhaul was done. And like I say, it's just seems to not suffer from some of the problems that are, you would think, normal. And when I do the oil change this week, of course I'll cut the filter, strain the screening, cut the filter open, wash everything out in solvent, and then pour it through a paper towel and let it dry, and you've got everything that was in the filter. And you inspect that, and you inspect, of course, the inside of the accordion. And don't expect to find anything, but we'll do that and have the results of it. In fact, I'll keep the strainings for anybody that has concerns. No fuel leaks. The airplane has never been damaged in any way. No hail damage whatsoever. Tires, wheels, brakes, everything is just right up to snuff. We put a new tube in the left main last annual because it had a habit of wanting to seem like every time I'd come out to fly it, which wasn't that often, the left main would be a little bit low, so we just changed the wheel out, or changed the tube out. And bearings are all fine. Like I say, maintenance is just absolutely to the gnat's eyebrow on this aircraft. And it's, even though it's got really no mods on it other than cinching its propeller, even still got the jelly jar beacon up there and the meat thermometer in the windshield. It will run right with the best of the Tigers. I have no problem at all making book speeds with it. I can tweak with it and play with it and get about 140, 141 knots out of it. Normally I figure I'm going to cruise it somewhere around 145 or so knots. That's what I plan on. And fuel burn tends to be a consistent 9.5 gallons an hour, somewhere in that area. And you can lean it down a little bit more to up at altitude, maybe get her down to around 9.3. I've done that, but I'm kind of thinking that may possibly have been partially responsible for 3 cracked cylinders. And So I'm kind of not in favor of doing that anymore. It's got wingtip strobes. That's about it. I think one more pass around. And mentioned about the hangar being for sale with it. It's located here at Payne Field, Everett, Washington, PAE. And this is the birthplace of Boeing's, the 767, 777, 747s, and the 787s are built here. And they got 787s parked all over the field, awaiting completion and delivery. Okay, so much for 268.
Freckles, our cat supervisor, and we'd like to introduce the new cats to you. We have Hopscotch there on the left. The other small ginger is Tarzan. He came with that name, and his sister will be popping up in just a second, and her name is Sweet Pea. These are the new cats that we've adopted into our home. It's going to be a nice little family, and we're having a ball. Thanks for watching.